Welcome everybody back to another Energy Geek Speak with me, Christine Marguerite of Love Evolve Energy, Aligned Light, here on the Evolve Within Love YouTube group channel. That's a lot of words all at once. Let me see if I do this. Yeah, that might up the volume a bit, which may be happy, it may not. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm just here to share some of my insights that have been happening through my meditation practice and some of my experiences, quote unquote, off cushion, as some of us like to say, off cushion. The idea is around not refraining from being aware of and refraining from conflating our values with the absolute truth of things, with reality as it is. So let me unpack that just a little bit right now. I'll preface it by saying, here we are. Welcome to Energy Geek Speak with Blossom. Let's call me Blossom. Calling me Blossom. I had this experience a couple of days ago where I was on a panel with other light workers, invited to be on just an exploratory panel that to see if we all vibe and fit, and it was a really wonderful experience. I won't go into everything that happened, but I had this one particular experience and how I'm choosing to unpack it now, how I'm seeing myself and how I was seeing others. So this is how one of the things went down. There was a certain point where one of the spiritual people, one of the light workers, was going on about meditation, Buddhist meditation in particular, just as a blanket term, and talking about it poorly. And I'm at the very moment, I can't remember specifically how. What I do know is that I began to get activated. I was beginning to get activated around lobbing the entirety of Buddhist meditation practice under one umbrella. I'm an aficionado, and I don't even pretend to be a complete expert on it. I'm an aficionado who's been practicing for close to 3 decades now, about 15 years within a Buddhist framework. That there are many kinds of Buddhism. There's animism involved, there's ritual involved, there's pure stripping down, from Tantric Buddhism all the way to Zen Buddhism, which is very clear and bare bones. I perhaps cull from different ones and sit more squarely in what is called Theravadan Buddhism, which you might consider dry from the outside until you actually sit down and practice it. Anyway, this is all to say that my ire got up, was activated when someone was blanket describing Buddhist meditation poorly. Poorly, it's a practice that is one of my foundations and very dear to my heart. So that, and I'm trying to remember something more specific about what was offered. Just that the general, what my gleaning was from the light worker's words, was that it was not helpful or not really useful and could be quite inhibiting. Personally, if you ask me, any technique is unuseful and inhibiting depending on how the person using it is approaching it, where their view is and their mindset is. It's helpful and useful and freeing depending on that person, where their mindset is and how they're using it. That is my opinion. I don't expect everybody to share that. It's simply my opinion. Towards the end, this person had the floor and was going on, and towards the end began describing a technique used within their offerings and programs and with their student base, where the technique was around watching thoughts arising and passing, or as if a technique I would describe with that is the mind as imagining it as a pool of water and dropping a stone, which would be a thought, into the pool of water to cultivate something, or simply watching thoughts arise and pass. That was the gist of it. Again, this was towards the end, and I was attempting to calm myself down, but towards the end, with other things, this particular technique was interesting. One, because the person said they didn't meditate or use meditation techniques, though they did use this technique. To me, so that person completed speaking. I then requested that I share, and I shared that perhaps it's beneficial and more helpful to not blanket dismiss, condemn, dismiss an entire practice, because there's so many different facets to it, and it is useful to people, and as to not offend anybody. Not really saying I was offended, although my ire was up, and so it was probably pretty obvious. I chose to speak and not refrain from speaking and turning that energy inward, but to, as calmly as I could, stating what I thought was a fair fact, or my perception of that. And then I also shared that it sounded like, although that person claimed to not have meditated, that sounds like they do at least micro hit meditations, and the technique of watching thoughts arise and fall is a basic Buddhist meditation within my tradition anyway, or one of my traditions. Not that I own it, but a tradition in which I practice Theravada Buddhism, where the technique is called awareness of mind, awareness of thoughts, awareness of images, etc., etc., etc. Something later on, as I announce the meditation retreat, I'll be offering a smaller one and then perhaps a longer one in October, but a smaller one this summer. We will be looking at something like that kind of technique. So I shared that with the panel and said that happens to be a basic Buddhist meditation technique. And just to please be aware when you're using these things to not dismiss an entire practice, and to really know your stuff a little bit better, claiming that is specific to you, or whatever quote unquote mindfulness practice you are and perhaps are using, and perhaps that person wasn't aware that the mindfulness movement is Buddhist based. Just saying. Anyway, I tried to be as calm as I could. I'm telling this story because what I have learned from it is that at first, a couple of days later, I began to reflect, and I saw that this person held values, very strong values, as we all do. And arising from those values had very strong beliefs about meditation, about dogma around meditation, about Buddhist meditation in particular, about their skills and their techniques in particular. And then what I gleaned was their need to be right and correct about that, and positing that as the truth of freedom, or the truth. Is my view accurate or not? I'm not sure. However, that was my view based on where I'm at and my understanding of that unfolding. And then I began to see, well, if I am seeing that externally, where is that also true? Where is that also living inside of me? And I began to see that me too, I too have strong values. And from those strong values, I have strong beliefs. Hence, in that moment, in that story, I was defending my values. I was defending my beliefs in the moment as my ire and defensiveness arose. That was the activity of defending what I believed to be ultimately and unconditionally the truth, with a value judgment on truth. Truth, the most useful, the best techniques. So there I was, blaming another, putting on another what I too was doing, what we all do. We conflate what we see as the truth, an absolute truth. We confuse. To conflate something means to confuse it with one other thing. I confuse that with what really is my value, my values, what I value, and what I hold as dear beliefs based on my values. And there I was. And so now, as I see this, I am able to see that I hold as absolutely true kindness, love, and pure equanimous awareness, because I also value those things. Are those absolute truths? It depends who you ask. And so I am now free. I am now free of judging them, condemning them, judging myself, condemning myself, receiving judgment, receiving condemnation based on others' values and beliefs and my own values and beliefs. And that's simply not how it is. And so there we are. And I request that we all take a gander what we do with our values. If you are not sure what your values are, take a look at what you believe. Take a look at where somebody can offend you, where you are holding resistance against somebody's conflicting ideas, conflicting values and beliefs. That will hold a mirror up to you about if there's a little resistance there. It shows you, what are you holding as a value? What are you holding as a belief? Just a way to find more freedom within yourself. And my belief value is that freedom is a flavor of love. And so there you are. Have a beautiful day. Please look out for other offerings and shifts and changes here on the Evolve Within Love YouTube channel. Blessings.